Coach Tom Eisenhauer joins us now inside the Cardinal Playbook to talk a little bit about track and field, the indoor version, of course, here in January. We've talked, I guess, a number of times about the difference between indoor and outdoor, and we can get to that in a second, but you've just come off a meet this weekend, which not a lot of people can say this early in the year. How'd it go for you?
Well, it went well. I mean, to be expected this early in the year. You know, every team faces the same thing. Is we just came back from winter break. You know, for us, it was 4 weeks away from campus, away from, coaches, and so we don't expect our athletes to be at their best at this meet, but it's a good measuring stick to see, where they are, what kind of fitness levels they have, what's maybe been forgotten over the break that they haven't been able to train. So, but I thought we did well. We had a really good showing out of our younger crew, our freshmen and sophomores, and so that's exciting, and makes me really excited to see what the future will hold.
Tell us about the meet itself first.
The meet was hosted by Missouri Southern State University down in Joplin, Missouri, and not a very big meet. It was Missouri Southern, obviously, as they hosted it. We were down there. Missouri S&T had a few athletes. Pitt State had a few athletes. Cali Community College had a few athletes, and so there's a few other community colleges there as well, and so not a huge meet, but enough that you get some good competition, good field sizes, but certainly we were challenged in a lot of ways.
I want to come back to the results here and the kids that participated in a moment, but what do you ask for your athletes to do during the 4 weeks that they have off, that they go home or whatever?
Well, they're given workouts, and they understand, and we bring this point home even during the recruiting that, if you were to be a member of this team, the expectation is that you are going to work out. Now, we can't make them mandatory, and we can't necessarily be checking in on every single one of them every single day. And so really it's it's on them as student athletes, and we expect them to be young adults and to be responsible and to take ownership of their training. And so they're provided workouts, but the reality is, for example, we had a polar vortex this year, and so there were some days where it was not safe to be outside for extended periods of times, and so you make do with what you can. And there's some kids that are much better doing all the workouts over break, and there's some others that don't take advantage of it. And generally, what we see is that as student athletes get older, they realize the importance of training over the winter break, and they put more merit into it. And it's, I've heard it year after year, especially with our seniors, saying, "Oh, don't make the mistake I did, and take 4 weeks off." And so, and that's something that the longer that I've coached here, there's fewer and fewer people taking the winter break off. So I feel like we've done a good job in kind of changing the culture here in the last 5 years.
I imagine that when you come back from a long break like that the timing and the tape doesn't lie when you get into a meet like Missouri Southern. Does it kind of show up there?
Absolutely. I mean, there's no hiding, especially with some of the events that are more fitness-based. Our middle distance and our distance runners. I mean, if you tell me that you ran over break, what we see at the meet, there's no denying it. It is what it is, But again, like I said, we're not the only one that faces that. Every coach you talk to is going to say, well, I'd like to do this, but unfortunately, you got to put a lot of trust in 18, 19, 20-year-olds.
Yeah. Well, isn't that coaching, though?
It is. It is. Well, that's what makes it fun, too.
Right, yeah.
Because it's really not just about winning and breaking records and things like that, and you hope that as a coach it's a teaching opportunity, that you're teaching them to be responsible young adults and hopefully preparing them for what comes after college.
How about Missouri Southern now? Who did well, and what was your impression of the meet?
We had a lot of people do well. I brought a list with me because
Good. Read the list.
I'm always going to leave people off if I don't. I'd say the highlight of the meet was Maggie Swenson, senior for us. She took second in the 400-meter dash. She also placed sixth in the 200-meter dash, and although her 400 wasn't a personal best, her 200 was her personal best for the indoor season. Right. So, and then even within the 400, one of the things we look for as coaches in the 400-meter dash is a 200-meter split, and so she is now running faster through her first 200 than she ever has in her career. So, good. As we progress through the season, we'll see that second 200 get a lot quicker, and so I'm really excited for her. She did a lot of work, and so that's what you hope for your seniors, and really what you expect from your seniors. And, but then a lot of youngsters really stepped up big. Gretchen Mays, she was fourth in the long jump. She went 17 feet 4 1/4 inches. Sophomore Margaret Perko was right behind her, taking seventh in that event. In the shot put, Sophomore Satoa Talamatasi, she was 5th, and freshman Mariah Bernard was 6th, right behind her. And on the men's side, freshman Trevor Nix was 7th. He also got 5th in the weight throw, so great day for him. PRs all around for him. Freshman Shelby Ridenauer, she was 6th in the 60-meter dash, and unofficially new school record. We're still going through to verify everything, but she went up against some really fast girls and did well. Margaret Perko again was 4th in the 60-meter hurdles, and then freshman Blake Alexander was 3rd in the hurdles. And then our women's 4x4 running with an alternate took 2nd, and that was made up of Gretchen Mays, Margaret Perko, Jessica Goldsberry, and Maggie Swenson. So great showing.
Right.
Our women did especially well. The men, I didn't read as many men's names off, and to be honest, we didn't run as many men at the meet either. There's some guys we just felt weren't ready, so we trained through this, and but a lot of PRs all around. I mean, it's what you want to see out of this.
Sure. We got to be really thrilled, especially it's the first indoor meet after the new year.
Yeah, and when you're dealing with a large group of freshmen and sophomores, PRs are a great thing to get. It means you're doing the right things, it means you're training, and you're going forward.
How about recruiting, that intrinsic motivation? How do you spot that?
The great thing about being at a place like William Jewell is that generally student athletes that are intrinsically motivated are good students, because they have the same drive that they have to be a good student athlete, to push themselves every single day. We generally see it translate, and so one of the first things that we look for are the academic profile of a student athlete. Okay. And I believe in our abilities as coaches here to train athletes, and so but to be a student here at William Jewell, you've got to take academics seriously. You've got to be committed. Otherwise, you won't make it.
Right.
And we're fortunate that we have excellent graduation rates here, some of the highest. And I believe that's because we find the kids that are looking for this kind of education, that are looking for an opportunity to compete at a high level while getting this type of education. So,
or is what you're saying then, when you go out and you look at a potential college athlete while they're still in high school, you're looking at their academic profile as much as anything?
Yeah, well, to start off, probably more so than anything. If they're a state champion and they've got a C average, as a coach, that's kind of a red flag for me, telling me that they may not be successful, and if I bring that kid on, they may not be eligible for half their career. And so I want to bring kids in that are going to be successful students, first of all. We want to graduate students. That's the #1 goal of everyone on this campus. And so my job is to make sure that the kids that we bring in, we're not setting them up for failure, in a sense. We want to make sure they're going to be successful here. And then once we feel that they meet the academic profile that we're looking for, then we look and see, okay, now do they have what it takes to be competitive in this conference?
Sure.
For some, they've already hit times and marks. For others, they haven't quite hit the marks, but we look at other things, maybe how long they've been training for in the sport, how tall they are, success in other sports, and sometimes those things will translate to a kid will have a lot of upswing that maybe we'll see them do great things junior, senior year.
Tom, what do you love about track and field? I mean, you've talked about several things here about being a coach, but just the sport itself, what do you love about it?
I love the challenge of it. It's a sport where you are challenging yourself physically and mentally day in and day out. As much pain, as agony as your body goes through, your mind has got to be sharp and your mind's got to be tough and disciplined in order to make yourself go through that. If we're doing a workout where we're doing repeat quarter miles, when you get to number 5 and number 6, it's really easy to quit. Or to want to quit, and so being able to overcome that. So I love the mix of mind and body and the discipline that it takes to be successful. So,
what's next for your team?
Well, next we will take a select few over to the Jayhawk Classic. It's a qualifier-only meet, and so those that have hit the marks between December, our first meet, and this meet as well, we'll take down there and give them a chance to compete against some larger schools, some Division I's, and some top-tier Division II's, and try to just keep getting better week in and week out. For those that didn't qualify, we'll continue to train for about the next month, and then we'll head down to Central Missouri at the beginning of February.
That is head track and field coach Tom Eisenhauer, and we're back with more on Inside the Cardinal Playbook following this break.